So now, welcome to the weird and wonderful world of Wolcottia's television. Remember to share, like and subscribe, and keep the discussion on the comment section, for the only comments promoting blasphemy against the Lord shall be taken down. The People's Kingdom of Wolcottia has a vibrant television network, though not all of it is equal in quality. The standard within the kingdom is split, state-owned and private-owned. This is because the government wishes to establish a standard of quality and encourage privately owned networks to exceed it. The government's plans backfired, as private channels have produced not only high-quality specialized content, but also pure junk food that makes ancient aliens look like the Twilight Zone. Even with the backfire, it still produces better content overall than most Western television, as its best and worst are much better and much worse than anything the liberal world has to offer. Now, let's welcome you to state television. No profanity, basic rules, and creative freedom within these constraints. Like all state television, the content is highly regulated. The difference: state television emphasizes artists and creators, not businessmen who want revenue. With this comes a ban on profanity, advertisements, and shock value content. Most Wolcottians associate state-run TV with highbrow, high-quality content, though not a single Wolcottian will ever mistake it for being perfect. Channel 1 is the Imperial News Network, a full propaganda network owned by the Wolcottian government, built in the style of North Korea. Unlike North Korea, the Imperial News Network admits its propagandistic nature, encourages people to take a look at alternative media, and even includes fierce opposition figures within its broadcasts. Try finding that from Pravda. You can't. Channel 2, also known as the Stories of the Empire and the World, is the Wolcottian government's official entertainment channel. Hosted by Jean-Luc Dubois, an eccentric Frenchman with a golden voice and a terrible pronunciation of the Wolcottian language, the Stories of the Empire and the World post works of both Wolcottian and foreign media, producing thought-provoking, highbrow entertainment. The best part of this channel: it doesn't restrict itself just to ideologically safe content, but instead prioritizes quality content that isn't just mind-numbing action movies and whatnot. It's all designed to provoke inquiry, not just to promote propaganda. One of its most famous projects is a TV show known as Mega Nura vs. Knoll, focusing on the adventures of a time-traveling lawyer to a Jurassic period dominated by the Fae. While it may sound like a pointless action adventure or stupid anime, it's a morality play akin to the best of Star Trek or the Twilight Zone. It is also known for its uniquely nuanced narrative in which no faction is particularly good or evil, which is inherently rare in Wolcottian television. However, some are bewildered by a bizarre reverence this show has towards Mussolini and Italian fascism, considering Wolcottia was ideologically opposed to the country, and very few Wolcottians are of Italian ancestry. The answer: turns out that much of the concept art was designed by people who fled fascist Italy. Channel 3, known as the Socialist University of the Empire, has its primary goal set in education. Hosted by Blonde Einstein, an extremely neurotic and eccentric professor, the channel creates the perfect environment to learn just about anything from rocket science to Cascadian atrocities in the war of survival. This is also the strictest channel when it comes to regulations, with a series of basic rules enforced. Never overstay your welcome, show genuine interest in what you are teaching, and maintain an emphasis of education rather than entertainment. While dark subjects are taught, they must remember their place. No light-hearted bunny biology before an expose of the Holodomor. An agenda must be shown other than shock value, and dark subjects must be limited to 1 hour per day, if that. For example, 11 p.m. to noon might host a friendly video about the biology of bunnies. Noon to 1 p.m. might host a video about the arrival of blues music into Wolcottia. 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. might host a video about 1990s atrocities committed by Ukrainian forces against Neo-Skian civilians. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. might host a video about Japanese haiku about death. And 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. might host a video about Bulgarian architecture in the 1960s. All of them will have their own agendas and reasons for delivery. The term socialist in Socialist University means that the education is free and publicly provided. Not that it is. Wolcottia's private networks, on the other hand, do not have the same standards of content. Freedom of speech is guaranteed, but also advertisements and corporate sponsorships. The only exception is one that's also enforced in the rest of the People's Kingdom. and that is a total ban on blasphemy against God, though religion can be criticized. Another thing to be noted is that privately owned networks tend to decline the higher up the channel is, so while channels 4 and 5 are great, channels 6 through 9 are trashy, 10 and 11 are ridiculous, and channel 12 is almost unwatchable. Channel 4, also known as the Blue Network, is made by several libertarian oligarchs, Baptist megachurches, and Buddhist community centers, with several conspiracy theories linking them to the Thai government. This channel is considered the gold standard of private television, delivering documentary and entertainment content that is usually almost as good as channels 2 and 3, and often better. The catch, the advertisements get annoying after a while. Channel 5, or Eagle TV, is a news channel with a slight liberal and anti-government bias. Unlike the national government's TV, it often involves local news and gossip, which the party officials in state-run TV consider themselves too refined and high-browed to ever do. Beyond this, it runs stuff in local dialects and in foreign languages, such as English, giving a more multilingual nature to their news. Channel 6, or Hungarian TV, isn't named that because it has anything to do with Hungary, but rather, just like the flat landscape of Hungary's central plain, this channel is extremely boring. Most of it talks about the weather, and it often tries way too hard at making mundane events seem entertaining. Because of this, the occasional Southern Baptist preacher, Armenian priest, rabbi, or scientist delivers a controversial address related to the weather. Channel 7 has a name that is almost unpronounceable to the average Wolcottian, and that's because it delivers extremely pretentious content, soap operas and historical dramas that are rarely good. It's also Wolcottia's go-to source of anime, and it contains mostly women's slice-of-life anime, or the most over-the-top bullshit that makes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure look like high art. There is no in-between. Channel 8, or reality TV, contains mostly boring reality content and stand-up comedy, with the occasional highbrow show involving truly genius comics and trolls, in which performative outrage is truly exploited. While you can't expect highbrow content, you can expect to laugh occasionally and see genius wherever it can be found. Channel 9, or Blue Star TV, is the liberal opposition's response to state-run TV. During the morning, it's a woke talk show that is so bad it makes The View look like a Trump rally. During the afternoon, it's run by an American Baptist minister who never set foot in Wolcottia, preaching Christianity in English. With subtitles so poor it makes one want to puke. During the evening, it hosts entertainment rallies for liberalism and social democracy, run by boring accountants with 20 people in the background, mostly anti-liberals who are just there for the free bread rolls. During the late night, it hosts an ultra-nationalist conspiracy theorist who spends most of the time yelling about how the Wolcottian monarchy is evil, and also how Churchill has Martian technology and used it to ensure that the Nazis would come to power, and how apparently he hypnotized Hitler to commit the Holocaust. Their entertainment consists of Disney movies dubbed into Wolcottian by Eric Beavis McCaulin, an American frat bro who is mostly doing this to score with Wolcottia's chicks. He doesn't even understand Wolcottian, so he mostly chugs a few bottles of beer and does his best Wolcottian accent. It also hosts what they call Palestine's Best Elvis Impersonators, an anti-Semitic hate group that spends most of the time ranting about Jews. In short, Channel 9 is why the Wolcottian government doesn't need censorship. The liberals do enough to embarrass themselves. Channel 10 is known as the Red Concordance, and while its name is interesting, its content is less than stellar. The channel mostly contains cartoons and degenerate reality shows that make SpongeBob look like Shakespeare. One of its worst shows is titled Who Wants to Marry a Goat, and is known for being incredibly racist towards gypsies. Channel 11, or The Stories of Abuela, is an insult to human dignity. The translations are done by unpaid interns who never corroborate their translations, creating a script inconsistent in quality. The dubbing, done by Vasile, a drunk 59-year-old Romanian who never left his tiny village of under 70 people. He speaks neither Spanish nor Wolcottian, so he tries to read the Wolcottian phonetically and fails. The man is also known for his cooking shows, in which he cooks Romanian food, usually ending with the kitchen being set on fire and him drinking vodka. Channel 12, on the other hand, is the worst channel in Wolcottian TV, and perhaps the entire world. Its most benign content is found in the reading of outdated stock market reports from 5 years ago. Occasionally it hosts a children's TV show. with a narrator who's a professional Vladimir Putin impersonator. Its worst content, however, is delivered by Siddhanirava Kalululu, a 19-year-old pundit who spends most of his time spouting conspiracy theories that would make Alex Jones call for help. It has gotten so bad that countless petitions have been made to get Lulu put into a mental asylum, though it's able to get away with it simply because it doesn't technically blaspheme God, and Wolcottia's free speech laws ensure that the government has its hands tied intentionally. There are 3 channels in Wolcottia that don't actually exist, but make up a lot of jokes in the nation's pop culture. Channel 13 consists entirely of goats cosplaying as Wolcottian soldiers in a historically accurate drama. Channel 6.5 consists of a Cambodian soap opera dubbed in Igbo in the Netherlands. Channel Pi consists of mind-numbing Orwellian propaganda from the fictional Ministry of Glorious. Wolcottia's TV system has many merits and flaws. On the one hand, the state sets a bare minimum by broadcasting high-quality content, while private networks are practically free to do whatever they want. However, the primary flaws of this system lie in its overestimation of market capitalism and popular sovereignty. If people want low-quality works, that's what they'll get. In addition, other flaws exist in that very few English translations have been made to state media content, while the worst of Wolcottian TV is expressed around the world. I shall end this video like a typical sign-off on Wolcottia's state television, with a prayer: "The Lord is the divine source of creation. He who is beyond all the honored, blessed and great, most powerful, most beautiful, most righteous, most wise, most loving, for he is love itself. Amen."